So Kingdom Primal is, like a lot of people are saying, a mini masterpiece. However, I'm still on the fence about this figure, and it's the reason I've been holding off on the Generations line since the beginning of Earthrise. If you're a part of the Discord, you probably know where I'm going with this, but if you aren't, you can join that. It's linked in the description below. I will say though that Primal looks great. The robot mode is fantastic to look at, and I absolutely love the way it presents itself. The colors pop very nicely against the blacks, and all the colors paint, by the way, so they do scratch in some places, mainly in the hips, so you want to be careful about that. Quickly going over the accessories, the swords look epic, just like they always do, and the little rocket things in his wrist are cool too. He doesn't have the mace or the jet thrusters like the original toy, but because of how small he is, which I'll get to in a minute, there's a reason why that's not included. But my issues come from something that has affected... my issues have come from something that has affected a lot of things recently. Most companies have been able to get around this issue this far into the pandemic, but Hasbro's approach to COVID hasn't been the best. At least in my country anyways. Not like they don't wear masks or whatever, I bet they follow every precaution necessary to keep everyone safe. It's their distribution and quality that's really taken a toll from this whole thing. And I know everyone got hit by this. Google had to push the release of the Pixel 5, Apple had to push the launch of the iPhone 12, Lego had to push some of its releases like the 501st Battle Pack and such. But all those companies overcame those obstacles and are able to push out those products out here to the market almost exactly like they used to in the sense of availability. Hasbro's Kingdom and Earthrise figures just never made it to a lot of places and sold out very quickly online. I went to Walmart and this was the only Kingdom figure they had in a sea of old Studio Series, which really sucks because I really wanted Megatron, but I'm going to have a hard time finding it. And it's not like Earthrise didn't suffer either. In my area, and in a lot of other people's areas in Canada, we got like Earthrise Wave 1 on store shelves, and then a little bit of Wave 2, and then Kingdom. So we just missed everything else. The other thing that gets me is the price. This costs $40, and it is not worth that price. Here it is next to an old Deluxe, and an old Voyager, and a semi-recent Voyager, and a Borak Va because it's on my desk, but it's really small. Now I know inflation is a thing, and price of oil has gone up, so the cost of making these is more and more. But Studio Series Voyagers cost the same and are larger and more intricate, and they have the added cost of a plastic insert. This packaging has become a lot more environmentally friendly by getting rid of that insert, and I love that. I'm so happy they're making the shift to be more environmentally conscious, but that money they save from that plastic insert could be put towards making the figure feel more worth its price. The plastic is kinda thin, and it's very tiny. It's a Deluxe. I'm paying $40 for a Deluxe. And I'm not trashing on Beast Wars either. I grew up on it. It was my favorite thing back in the day, and so I was so hyped with excitement surrounding this when it came out. And then a semi-botched release came with overpriced figures that makes me not want to buy these. Yeah, it looks great, but it's $40 for, well, like I said, a Deluxe. I don't know, I don't like it. Now, you may disagree with me, and that's totally fine. That's just my takeaway from this whole thing. Yes, I will get Megatron eventually, but I would like for them to make these figures a little bit more available. Kingdom Wave 2 is starting to show up, and this is the only Kingdom Wave 1 figure I have ever seen on store shelves. Articulation though is fantastic, minus the hips. They're super restricted, and like I said, the paint scratches off pretty easily. Transformation is your standard Beast Wars Optimus. I don't know what else to say about that. It transforms how you would expect. And Gorilla Mode it's okay. The proportions look off, and the rear half of it isn't even trying to hide. I mean, it gets the job done and stays true to the original, but there had to have been a better way to do the legs integrating with the back end. You could have folded out some flaps or something underneath to make it cover the legs. The fur detail is nice, and it's different from the MP's more flat look, but it fits the Generation style more than that would, and probably looks heaps boring if there was no fur detail. But I wouldn't mind a cartoon accurate version at some point. That would be nice. In the end, I don't know. If you really want one, then I would say, yeah, get it. It's a decent buy, but for me, it just isn't doing it. I hope Megatron is different because I have really high hopes for that. And yes, I have seen people's most recent requests to do a fix video on Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Don't worry, I'm working on it. I do have one now, so that'll be happening soon. And I have a lot to say about this Master Chief, but I'm waiting for its replacement boy, do I have a story about that. But honestly, I'd say get the original, because it does almost all the same things and more, and comes with more stuff and has more gimmicks, and you can usually find it for about 50 to 60 bucks in the secondary market, and it's much bigger. But like I said, if you were waiting for this and really wanted one, then yeah, go on and get it just for the robot mode alone. It's really good, and that's the highlight for me. But that's probably the main reason why I haven't been buying Generations figures, is because it's getting kind of stale with them rehashing everything. I know Studio Series is also technically doing that, but they're also giving us more and more figures of characters we never got, or improving really horrible toys we got in the past. Generations, we've had most of these characters several times already. There are a bunch of new ones like Impactor, Spinister, and all that, and Ape Face, which are really good. Actually, Ape Face is not, but that are really good. But then we get stuff like Inferno and Grapple again, Optimus Primes again, and it's just, I've not lost interest in it. I'm hoping that what comes after the War for Cybertron trilogy does something fresh and new, or rehashes figures that we haven't gotten in a very long time. That's why I was really excited for the Unicron trilogy stuff, which never happened for some reason. But we've never gotten those like after the Unicron trilogy, unless they were like repaints. So I would like some Unicron trilogy figures. Then I would probably get into Generations a lot more, because right now just redoing G1 year after year, to me, is getting boring. But otherwise, that's been my look at Kingdom Optimus Primal. I cannot speak English today. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The link's below. I've got my Patreon there too, with that exclusive Snapdragon review up there. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.